Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. We are going to start a series today where we are going to create this little box and a little journal to go inside of it. So this is a kit that Robin has in her shop. It comes with the template for the box, in PNG, so you can use it with your Cricut, and in PDF form so that you can print it off and cut it out yourself. Then it also comes with 2 pages, let's see, 2 pages, 12 cards to go inside of your box. So let me slide that out of the way. So they're all very, very, very cute, beautiful little rose florals. I am in love with these florals. They're so pretty. Just some beautiful verses to encourage you. So you can put these inside your box. They are a great way to give a sweet little encouraging gift to a friend or loved one. But we had the idea to take some of these and make a journal out of them. So we used them and 2 of the cards and then created a binding and put some signatures inside. So let me show you that, and then we'll go over some of the materials that you're going to need for this project, and then we will get started. Okay, so here is the journal. This is the outside of the journal. This is 1 card, and then there is a card on the back. Then I created a binding piece out of cardstock and glued the cards to it. And then I covered up my signature with paper and then with some ribbon. Now I have mine closed together with a little magnet. These little guys are very, very powerful little magnets. And it took some work trying to figure out how to get them on there. I still want some sort of a little sticker or something on here that's pretty and decorative. Maybe some more of this, that would be pretty. So then you can open it up, and I have decorated all inside. So to get some of these on the inside, you'll notice that this one is quite a bit smaller than the one on the cover, and that's because I printed them out at 80% to do that. So it's just all different kinds of paper. I've added in some tucks and pockets. This is some music note paper. Here's a little belly band with a little tag that I made from some beat dyed paper. So just some graph paper. So anything that you want to put inside is totally fine. Any type of paper that you have. And these are so small that you can use up some of those scraps that you have laying around as well, which is it's just a great way to use up some of those scraps. This is just some tissue paper, I believe, and then I glued one down to that. This is some coffee dyed graph paper, I believe. Some scrapbooking paper, some of Robin's kits, some distress ink around the edges. And that's pretty much what we've got going all the way through. Used a little stamp, some bows. I tried to, you know, if I did something on one side, like if I put a verse on one side, then I left the other side for journaling. So right here you can see I put one of the cards here. So I left plenty of space for journaling on this other side. Here's my middle with my 3-hole binding. Here's a collage page that I did and just used some distress ink around it, and then some stamps. It's just a sticker. And I thought it kind of matched the floral pretty well. I don't remember where I got the sticker. Oh, it's a Park Lane sticker set. Just a Park Lane papery sticker set that I found. So here's a music note paper pocket, and then I just added in a little thing. You can journal on that space, front and back, and then some more. I used this one as a pocket, and you can see this little bit of a thing right here, and you can pull that out, and there's some journaling space paper, and it's got both, it's got two of her little buttons, and then it just slides right back in there. If this tissue paper would stay out of my way, oh my goodness. Okay, tissue paper, just a little hand lettering. This is graph paper, and then I just took some of that beat dyed paper and made a little pocket there. Sorry, a hand was probably in the way on that one. More of her verses. I just stuck them down with washi. More writing space. This is just a white piece of paper that I cut, rounded the corners, and then distress inked. And then you've got very easily some journaling space on a book page, which, you know, you're not going to, they look really cool in your journals, but they don't, you know, give you anywhere to actually write. This is a little piece from one of Robin's kits, and I just ripped around it and distress inked it. And then there's one signature. Here's the middle of my thing, the middle of my journal, sorry. And then we'll go through the second half. Okay, so more of her things, more of her images, and then just a little piece of ripped paper, distress inked and stuck inside there. Here's one of her little bows. This page, I love this scrapbooking paper, and so I didn't want to block the whole thing. I still wanted to be able to see it, so I just used some tissue paper that I inked around the side. Here's a little scrap word that I had left over from my Bible study, from working in my treasure journal for my Bible study, and so I just stuck it on there. I left that to where you could open it up and write underneath it if you wanted. Here's another just plain page with just a little bit of her images from this month's Bible study. I love these stamps. They are just so cute. And so with this one, let's see if I can find a little piece of paper. With this one, I created two tucks. So this is some scrapbooking paper here that just had some writing on it. So I turned that whole thing into a pocket. And then when I glued the stamp on, I just made sure that I glued here and turned that into a little tuck spot as well. Just a big stamp on the page, and then some more music paper with a little coffee cup from January's kit. Here's another one of those pages where I just took a white printer paper and distressed around the side of it. And now we have a nice little writing space. Tissue paper. Here's another pocket. Blank pages for us. These are some of my favorite things to make. This one I glued all the way down, so there's only one pocket here. But I love layering the different papers and then making that into a pocket. So here you can see we can stick a little something, a little tag or something down in here if we want to. Just a little bit more collage page. A little sticker from another one of those, one of these Park Lane kits. It's a coffee one. Am I in there? Yeah. I love coffee, so. Here's just some stamps, and I made some lines, or, well, I have a stamp that has lines on it, so, yeah. More pockets here. I love this paper. I think this was it this month's kit? Or it may have been last month's kit, but I am in love with this paper. And whenever you use that darker distress ink all around the edges, you can just kind of antique it really, really nicely. It just looks really pretty. This is the frayed burlap distress oxide is what I use for that, and for all of these edges on here. So same thing, just a little collage, distressed to the sides, ripped up a heart, and that page is good to go. This is just the rest of that piece. This is such a great project for all those little tiny scrap pieces, because this book is so little until you're not going to use up big stuff. You need a little tiny box with a whole bunch of little scraps in it. And then that's just some graph paper that's distressed around the side. And then we've got some more book page. Another one of her verse cards. Some yellow onion dyed paper. Another verse card on some accounting paper. And there we go. See, we're pretty close to the end here. And here again, I loved this paper, so I made that paper my cover, so for both covers. So that is what the journal is going to look like when we get finished. And it fits right inside your box, just perfectly. Let me see which side that. Right there. And what a cute little gift to give somebody, right? That would be just like the cutest little gift to give somebody. Okay, so let's go over some of the things that you're going to need for this project. Most of these are not have-tos. It depends on what you want to put in your book. So the types of paper that you want to use, all of those are going to be varied. It's going to depend on what you want. So if you're just using copy paper, which is totally fine, then all you're going to need is copy paper. You're not going to need like this is this is the set of papers that I cut for this book, okay? And so I had all these different kinds of papers layered in there, but you won't have to worry about finding a whole bunch of different papers if you're just going to use one type of paper, which is totally fine. But the things that you are definitely going to need, let's see here. Let's zoom out just a teensy bit. Okay. So here's what I did for this one. If you'll notice on this box, the inside is just white. Well, for the one that we're going to make together, I wanted to do something a little bit different. If you don't want to, if you like the white inside, then don't worry about it. Just print out your printable and cut it out and you're good to go. But what I did was, well, that was Bible study pages. Those aren't supposed to be in there. Okay. I printed the back with a full sheet of paper. Well, almost full. So I took one of Robin's squares and I put it into Photoshop and I printed it from there so that it covered the whole page. So that I didn't have to try to line anything up front and back because I was worried that I wouldn't get it right. And then I went to the PDF printable for the box and I cut that out. So you're going to need your box, no matter what you decide to put on the back, you will definitely need this. And then if you want there to be something on the inside, make sure you print something onto that other side. It can be an older pinkish or green or blue paper that that Robin's had in another kit or something like that. Or you can use the PNGs with the Cricut if you know how to do that. Or even if you wanted to take the PNGs and print them and then print this and then glue those two together, you could do that as well. Okay, so that is those. Okay. Then you're going to need to print these cards out full size. You're going to need to print them out on some cardstock. You want them to be nice and thick because these are going to be your front and back cover of your book. Okay, you're going to need a little bit of cardstock for your binding. Just grab a scrap piece. Actually, you'll have some left over from your from printing out your thing. So you'll grab some scrap piece because we just need a small piece to make that binding out of. Okay. Then you're going to want to print out your cards at 80%. So you can see here I've got both of my sets of cards. I printed them straight from Dropbox and I printed them at 80%. That way they will fit nicely on the inside of your book, okay? Some other things that are pretty helpful, some sort of clip. This thing can be a little tricky to hold open and work in. With it being so little and everything, it kind of wants to close up. If you can throw these clips up here in a corner real quick, it makes it a lot easier to work in. It makes it a lot easier to bind, just all the way around. Just makes it nice. So make sure you have some sort of clips to work with. Okay, some sort of glue that you like. This is my favorite glue. It's the Art Glitter Glue. This stuff is so good. It's not good for things like lace and ribbon. It's not going to glue that kind of stuff down, but it's a glue that's more for, well, not more for, it's for all sorts of paper products, but it also glues things like gems and stuff like that down. It is really, really, really good glue. Okay, so you'll need some sort of glue, some way to close your book. If you don't have magnets, you don't have to use magnets. You could just as easily close it up with some ribbon and just put a little bow. You could close it up with some sort of a band around it. I picked up these little things for some bigger journals and just wrapped these around the journal. It's a great way to close it up. They're nice and stretchy. I think I grabbed them at Walmart or something. Okay, so then you're going to need something to poke holes with. So if you have an owl for poking your holes in the middle of your journal, let me show you on this one since I didn't hide it. So we have a 3-hole binding here where we put, and this is one signature and this is the other signature. And you need to be able to poke through your papers so that you can get your string through there. So we're going to need some string. I just use cross stitch thread and a needle to get that through here. For poking my holes through my book, I use these guys. I found them on Amazon for pretty cheap. They're probably not the best thing in the world. They've got these blades on them and they hurt my hand a little bit, but they were a lot cheaper than like the crocodile thing, which is like super expensive, and yeah, just not in the budget right now. So I use these little guys and they work great for getting those holes in your book. So some way to get the hole in your book, and then the owl to poke the holes through the middle of your signature here. Okay, of course we'll need things like scissors, or scissors and some sort of a cutter to cut things out of. I use a little piece of graph paper to help me place my holes in the middle of my journal. I just take it, well, we'll go through that, but when we're putting the book together. So some sort of a graph paper that will help you, or even just a regular paper. The graph paper is nice because it has all the lines on it to help you figure out where you're going to put your holes. This is not an exact science, and you really don't necessarily have to have something like this, but I just like to do it. It just makes it a little bit quicker and easier, and I'm sure to match all those holes up just where I want them. Then you are going to need your papers that you want to put inside of your journal. I showed you a lot of different papers in there. There is also a video on the Facebook group where I did a Facebook Live and showed my journal for this month and went through some of the papers that I put in there, so that will give you some other ideas. Again, you're going to need some scraps, just some little scraps to decorate the inside with. So I have a box of small scraps here, and then I also have a box of a little bit bigger scraps. So if I can pull this out, and this can be one of my papers to go inside. It doesn't matter that it's not exactly the same size as the journal. That's totally fine. obviously I wouldn't use this with this ripped edge on here, but so this could be one of my papers to go inside my journal. Okay, so on top of the scrap paper, some other things that you might like to have around are some stickers, maybe some different little stamps that you have, some word stamps, some flower stamps, anything that you might like to add to your book. You can get some Distress Oxide inks if you have any of those on hand, and whatever your favorite colors are, maybe some washi tape. Did I say stickers? Definitely stickers. Gotta have the stickers. Anything else? I think that's about it. I think that's all that we're gonna need to get us started. So in the next video, we will get our box put together, and we will get the main part of our book put together, our journal, with the binding and or the binding edge, and get it all put together. And then in the next one, we will start working on signatures, get our signatures all put together, and then we will spend a little time decorating. I'll show you some of the things that I did in here. If there's anything in here in particular that you would like to see, make sure you comment below, and I'll try to make sure that I at least get to that one. We probably won't decorate the entire book together, but hopefully we will give you plenty of ideas so that you can get the rest of your pages all together with little to no problem, with a lot of variety inside your beautiful little journal. All right, everyone, I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you will tune in and make this cute little journal and box with us, and make sure that you share your little journal creation on our group. So I hope that you have a great and wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.